hey, remember that file that you guys were asking about?
Yes, I understand.
Oh yeah, we'll be done by 10 with this witness. And we haven't even gotten across yet.
Judge Glanville instructed us to go find. We actually went and we found this file.
She said, it looks like my file. And so I came out here, and that's what I asked.
Apparently nobody knew where this came from.
And I just don't know how that happens, that we're learning that this missing file has apparently been discovered. I guess we're going to review it to see. I don't know how we learn about that in the middle of direct testimony.
I asked her, did she see that? Did I show her? Did she see it? Does it look like her file? She's answered the way that the court is aware.
That's just tough for me to reconcile with everyone being above board.
If you're new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. So as the day started off, man, we're back at square one with the state bringing Detective Pillow talking Gaither back to the stand. And here's the funny part. The state is still refusing for her to actually be filmed on camera, as if she hasn't been seen on all the episodes of First 48 coming straight out of Atlanta. But again, is her testimony just another play from the state? And if Gaither's testimony didn't help the state the last 2 times, is the 3rd time the charm? And ask yourself, did Lil Details actually give too many details to help the state actually build this case? And between Lil D and Woody, ask yourself this, again, who really helped the state? As always, before we dig deep, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed and tap that notification bell. Scroll to all so you never miss a drop whenever we drop. Man, y'all know the vibes. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. Y'all ready? Let's dig.
So if there's something done without quote-unquote permission from the higher-ups, it ain't no kind of, who said so behind it? I mean, he told Thug what's going on, and Thug just ran with it. So now it's almost, I guess because Thug initially was with Red Cartel, right? No. Or he was rapping with Rock and all that. He know what, he was with Rock Crew. Well, Rock Crew. Rock Crew, y'all confuse me. Rock Crew and Rock the same thing. Right. But so when everybody had fell out with Boo, I ain't saying about that, but they had fell out with Boo, because they say Boo snitching on Mo. And then they only started YSL. Just to kind of disassociate them. And YSL.
So YSL is the game, but it's also a close game, correct?
Yeah. Started some Shannon.
So we put Woody to the side and Shannon back to the Woody spot.
Yeah. So like Woody so slow spot.
So Shannon and Yak told you, and he said that Nar was in the car also, and Nar was driving.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you remember what they told you?
No. That's it. No, that's it. You know what he told me.
And where did they tell you this at?
They threw out. Well, Shannon told me they threw out.
Shannon
told me they threw out too, but threw was already gone.
Okay. His house was condo or
Condo.
Condo. Can you remember what Shannon had on that night?
Nah, I don't know. That's my stuff.
Does this look familiar to you?
Yeah.
What that is?
That's the condo.
That's the condo. And who's that standing in the window?
That's Shannon.
Was that before or after the murder?
That was the day before.
Day before?
Yeah, all the way up to the mom now. Thought that one was closed, so that was the day before.
Okay.
How'd you link up with them after the murder? Cause I told you, we called, most of them called me out, they say like, somebody killed Nut, people who was scared, and we were together, cause I'm responsible. Who got shot at? We met him up there, and then Woody had pulled out, he pulled out a doctor, no doctor who he shot. So we, me and Motum followed me, cause they had no license, to Thug's house. And, then they seen, Nut, Shannon told me that they seen Shannon like, calm down bad.
Calm down bad.
Calm down bad.
Okay. What else?
And then they killed him.
And did they say who was firing what gun?
Now I know Shannon had a 4.5.
Shannon had a 4.5. So did anybody get word to shoot Nut, or this was just an opportunity?
They just wanted the name.
They just wanted the name.
Cause like, it used to be one and Motum going out shooting. They just wanted the name. So did Woody slow down with all his bullshit, or once Nut got killed, did Woody slow down with his stuff, or was he still? Nah, when he seen that he had a lot of folks that ran with him, then he hung back up. Moody. Yeah. But see, they didn't really know Shannon like that. Yeah, he did. Right. Like those don't really mess with him. He was running with Woody from him. Right. Out of these 4, who you the closest with? Shannon. Yeah. Why is that? Cause like, so he always like they treat me like little brother and stuff.
So, is anybody still confused about who the state star witness is? It's Lil D. The connection to why Detective Gaither is back on the stand again for the third or fourth time, which seems like an eternity, is Lil D. And today was actually no different. But here's where things actually took a turn in the actual courtroom. Anybody remember when Shaw had Detective Gaither and he kept asking Detective Gaither, where are your reports? Do you have any reports to validate your work? Detective Gaither, where are your reports? They said they didn't have the reports. They blamed it on the hack. Well, ironically today, with the prosecution on the attack, you actually see Ms. Love actually pops out with these actual files that were actually found, and they happen to be the same ones that were missing all this time. Was this another play from the state, or is this just another expected play? Let's dig.
Would you read for the jury the date that Mr. Zachary posted the photo of himself and Gucci Red to his Twitter account at rock Lil D _ Lil D?
October the 20th, 2014.
All right. Now, with respect to Mr. Zachary's Twitter name, does he spell it ROC _ Lil D, or does he spell it a different way?
The C is replaced with a 5.
Within your expertise as a gang expert, does that 5 have any significance to you?
For members of blood gangs, the number 5 represents their gang. They will normally replace if it's a letter C with a 5 or X out the C due to their rivals being the Crips.
Okay. Do they ever X out the C and replace it with the letter B as in Bravo?
Yes, ma'am.
Holding up for the jury, do you have that available for display? All right. Holding up for the jury, State's Exhibit 526, Yankee Charlie, Mr. Zachary and Gucci Red.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Testify as both a fact witness and an expert witness, and that's the case with this witness. And I think you noticed a couple of minutes ago, Ms. Love asked a question in your expert opinion or with your expertise as a gang expert or something like that. If she is ever testifying in her expert capacity, Ms. Love will preface her question with words to that effect. So those are the only times she's testifying as an expert. Otherwise, she's just a regular old fact witness, just like any other witness that comes in here. Okay. All right, let's get her back in. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I'm going to move for a mistrial on behalf of Mr. Stillwell. We have, first of all, I'll point out that we've been referring to Ms. Gaither as, I believe, Sergeant. And I say that to say that she is not someone that just came off the street to testify with no understanding of how the process works. She's experienced. She's, I'm sure, testified many times before. She just informed the jurors that her belief is that Mr. Zachary did not want to harm Mr. Stillwell specifically, but that's not my objection. My objection is she testified his intent was to come in and give to get himself out of trouble by giving truthful information. That was absolutely improper. That was vouching for a witness. That was bolstering. And that is the basis for a mistrial. From an expert, I'll point out as well.
Your Honor, my response is that the court very well could and should instruct the jury that as to the witness's opinion about a interviewee's, well, first, my response is we vehemently object to a mistrial. Secondly, the court could and should instruct the jury that a witness's opinion about another witness's statements or, testimony or anything that they said is not to be considered by the jury. The jury is the person that determines the credibility of the witnesses. And I can make certain that Sergeant Gaither knows when I'm asking regarding any indication that to not talk about truthfulness, but just to give objectively what indication or whether she considered that there was an indication. Secondly, a mistrial is in no way warranted in this case when Sergeant Gaither did not say Quindarius Zachary was being truthful. She said, I perceived. She said, I perceived. And that is why an instruction would be warranted that her opinion about his truthfulness is not to be considered by the jury. They make the determination about credibility. There is nothing about any of the exchange that just occurred that warrants or in any way justifies a mistrial. At best, an instruction is called for.
That I initially objected to the question to begin with, And I saw the danger, and the state insisted on asking that question. That prompted this response. That was completely inappropriate.
All right, thank you. I'm going to instruct the witness as well. So we'll go ahead and take a break. And when we get back, I'm going to have the witness in and instruct her and then give an instruction to the jury. Going to deny the motion for mistrial.
Did you look at with the state any such file before coming here right now?
Did I look at it? Yes.
Okay. And did you recognize that to be the file that you
Yes.
had? Okay. Would showing you a portion of that file refresh your memory as to what phone number that you had?
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yo, stop what you're doing real quick. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit the like button. Share the video. Hit the like button. Let's dig.
Your Honor.
You're just going to put it back in the condition it was in just a minute ago and then permit them to look at it.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Before we ask Investigator Gaither any questions, I would ask the court to inquire of the state when they received this file and how they received this file, because we're completely in the blind.
Okay.
We went over to the Atlanta Police Department.
When? Is your mic on?
Just before we served, I think we called it complete case files from Operation Planners incident. This is where we got this one, the other ones that were included in that discovery tranche from the Atlanta Police Department. That's where they came from. The one titled Complete Case Files of 2015 Operation Planners. If the court will allow me, I will ask our legal assistants to give me the date that we served the file called Complete Case Files of Operation Planners.
Okay. And so the contents of that file were served whenever that was?
Yes.
All right. What led you to suddenly ask Detective Gaither if this was her file?
As I was looking through for a particular number, I was trying to find both that photograph where Mr. Zachary had signed 8515 Nard on the Browns Mill Road photograph. So I was looking for that. And I was just looking through everything that we had. And in looking through it, because I knew I'd seen it somewhere, I found it in this particular file folder. And looking at it, I initially I'll show the court what I was about to show.
Well, why don't you put it back together? And I know we're asking you to do several things at once. So how about put it back together and then you can finish your answer.
Right. Now, we supposed to just believe you were just looking through a case file and all of a sudden, boom, the stuff the defense has been asking for that y'all said was missing, you just happen to find and use it today. Perfect timing.
So as I was looking for that, I started looking for, I said, I remember somebody's signature being on it. I don't remember if I thought it was Mr. Zachary or whomever. In either event, I found this particular, the one that we've entered as, anyway, the one that Mr. Zachary signed. On 8/5/15. I found that and pulled it out and just started looking at it. I didn't know whose file it was. And in fact, I sent a text message to Detective Dennis on a particular date asking him, whose writing is this, on Thursday of last week. And it was a portion of this file that contained a report about Demise McMullen and a kidnapping. And it had Demise Nard McMullins. So I asked Dennis, whose writing is this? And I don't see where he wrote me back. But while I was in the back just now, I asked Sergeant Gaither, whose writing is this? And she said, I think I asked her in the, whose writing is this? And I don't remember whether she said it was hers or Dennis's, but I asked her if this looks like her file. And she said, that looks like my file. What's in it? And I said, here. And I showed her what was in it, the stuff that they were looking at, that I was looking at. And she said, it looks like my file. And so I came out here, and that's what I asked her. I asked her, did she see that? Did I show her? Did she see it? Does it look like her file? She's answered the way that the court is aware. And we're looking at the discovery that we served, and Mr. Atkins is telling me that we served that in 2022. So I was, well, wait, we're confirming. I'll take that back. We're confirming when it was served.
So did the prosecution again just get caught trying to be sneaky to introduce these missing case files right here in front of the jury? And Detective Gaither just happened to be here? Was this just perfect timing? Let's dig.
When were the discussions about whether Sergeant Gaither's file existed or was destroyed in the hack or whatever? When did those occur? Before or after that discovery was served?
I think after, but yeah, but I don't think, I know for a fact that whatever was discussed, like when I look through that file, I don't see in that file either anything that was like
Actually
the copy
indicates that it's, I mean, I didn't either in my quick cursory review of it. In fact, there are some reports from other investigators and I don't see any handwritten notes or anything like that. But so, I mean, I guess, did you recall at this time that what everybody previously thought was that Sergeant Gaither's file no longer existed?
Did she recall or did I recall?
Did you recall when you went and asked her, hey, is this your file?
No,
You didn't remember that? Did you remember that? I mean, when she was like, yeah, that might be my file, were you like, huh, so it actually exists after all? Or were you like, not even remembering that it didn't exist?
No, I remembered when they were asking her questions about interviews or certain parts, certain things within that she said were within her file. And I didn't see, that's not in what I have. I've never seen that. So I cannot say, no, I didn't say, oh, this now exists, because nothing that she said didn't exist exists
in there.
So how many times do we have to see the same thing over and over again before a pattern actually becomes a behavior or a behavior becomes a pattern? Now here's the kicker. The defense actually had no prior knowledge that the prosecutor found these missing files, not even the opportunity to review them. So would it be safe and correct to say that the defense was quick to object? Absolutely. In fact, they actually argued that this was yet another example of how the state keeps trying to sneak in and hide evidence from both the courts and the defense. But again, according to the state, this was just another honest mistake. Let's dig.
File, and I imagine in this day and age, people don't download everything from the computer, and maybe she had an electronic file also, and that's what she meant, but y'all can find out.
Can I just clarify the record a little bit?
Yeah.
And I would very much like to look at that file. Last time, and I believe it was last time, I can't recall how many times Investigator Gaither has testified, but I'm going to say last time. She took the stand. There were specific things that she said she did, and they were not in the reports given to us. I'm aware that the state gave us electronic copies of certain documents in 2022. No one's disputing that. She claimed that, well, I did do that and I did document it. I wrote reports.
Right.
And I said, well, where are the reports? Because we had discovery and it didn't have any of these reports pertaining to the work she claimed she did. And so then we talked to Judge Glanville about it, and Judge Glanville kind of summarily attributed it to the hack, which I didn't necessarily agree with, but he also told the state, you need to go to APD and make due diligence, your best to find this file. Everyone was looking for this file. And then apparently the state obtained this file and never reported back to the court or to defense counsel, hey, this file that everyone was looking for, last time Investigator Gaither testified, we found it. This is what's in it. Here you go. Because my understanding, I haven't looked at it, but other people on the team have, the new discovery that was served does not contain that amount of information from the file. That I'm looking at how thick that file is. There's like one police report and a new tranche of information that they're claiming they served after the file. But at no point did anyone from the state tell anyone on the defense, to my knowledge, at least to me, hey, remember that file that you guys were asking about and Judge Glanville instructed us to go find? We actually went and we found this file. And I just don't know how that happens, that we're learning that this missing file has apparently been discovered. I guess we're going to review it to see. I don't know how we learn about that in the middle of direct testimony. That's just tough for me to reconcile with everyone being above board.
Ms. Lev, maybe when you talked to her outside, she said whatever she said to indicate, yeah, that might be my file.
that you come in and you say to your opposing counsel, hey, you know what? The file of Detective Gaither's that we thought was entirely gone. Well, you know what? Apparently a part of it is this portion that we sent you 2 years ago. You know, I mean, it just
I
would
do
make things
understand, but
easier.
I just want to make clear that this is not something that was, we tried to conceal from anybody, given we served
I
this.
understand, obviously, if they confirm that they already have the contents, that's not necessarily up for debate. It's just that the knowledge that it's Sergeant Gaither's is new. And when you learn it, it'd be nice to share it with the other people.
And yes, Your Honor, I understand what the court is saying, but I do also remember when when questions were put upon this witness about the items that she had in her file, no one brought to her the discovery that they already had and said, is this what was in your file?
Apparently nobody knew where this came from.
They knew that this was Detective Gaither's, that this was Sergeant Gaither's investigation. So I don't.
The stuff we were questioning her about was not in the discovery. She was claiming she did
Is
work
it?
that was not provided.
And okay, and it may still not exist. And we all know, I can't remember the dates of the hack, but we all know because we practice in Fulton County that there was some gigantic, what we call hack of the whole city, and APD legitimately lost a whole lot of files that were never able to be recovered. So, I mean, that's just a fact.
Now, after watching all of this play out, it definitely had me looking at the judge sideways, because it seems like she still found a reason to reason with the state. That's just my personal opinion. Especially with this not being the first time that this happened. The state has already tried to pull similar moves before, attempted to introduce hidden evidence which suits their narrative. Now the defense is consistently arguing that this goes beyond a simple mistake again. But is this really a sign that the state is intentionally hiding evidence or only revealing it when it's convenient for their case? Let's dig.
How much longer do you expect to have?
That was literally the last question.
Okay. We can talk about it during the non-jury days we're going to have, but we have got to streamline this case some more. This is just going to have to figure out a faster way to get to what it is that you want from each witness. I mean, in federal court, you know, they might just say, you got an hour with this witness. And
do they limit both
we will-
sides to cross
we will
and
talk
state?
We'll talk about the witness list next week.
And Your Honor, yes, I understand.
Oh yeah, we'll be done by 10 with this witness. And we haven't even gotten across yet. After having her all day yesterday,
She was here Monday, Judge.
whenever it was.
Monday was 2 days ago. She waited all day and did not testify.
Well, that's not the issue. The issue is how long she's on the stand testifying and how long every witness is on the stand testifying and how many witnesses there are in this case. It's just a lot.
Your Honor, are both sides restricted to an amount of time?
Well, I mean, I would imagine that it's not like they let one side go on forever, but the other side only gets 10 minutes.
And given that the state does have the burden of proof, Your Honor.
I understand that, which is why I haven't done it yet.
So the big question here is, did the state just get caught hiding more evidence? Or did the defense actually just get caught lacking? Is the prosecutor actually playing fair? Or is this deliberate attempt to actually mislead the defense and the court? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. And think about this, the prosecution is even willing to hide evidence just to get a conviction, even before the myths and files were found? Were we already not questioning the credibility of this witness? Or is this the state's form of get back from Gaither due to Lil Dee's testimony about the pillow talking witness? Was this just another honest mistake? Or was this actually a calculated chess move from the state? And was it not ironic that these files just happened to pop up today? Or again, did we just watch the defense actually get ambushed by the state? And if the defense is already fighting to prove that the state's evidence doesn't support the entire RICO theory, will this move from the state actually backfire and actually sway the jury? Or will the state's corrupted tactics actually backfire and work in the defense's favor? So let's dig. So again, another day wraps up with the judge doing what? Overlooking the prosecutorial misconduct by the prosecutor. Now, even more ironic when we look at this actual witness, at this point of the trial, as many times as this witness has been on the stand, is she an expert, a detective, a sergeant, or just a fact witness? But why is the prosecutor allowed to get away with things in this manner, in this way? Did we just witness another day that the judge just helped the state? This evidence, ask yourself this: how will it really impact the case? Now, my personal opinion, I don't feel like it will actually impact the case either way, because again, the witness that's on stand was already in question. The tactics with her ain't no different from the tactics with the prosecutor who's actually up here introducing this case. Just because y'all had a weekend break to go and actually coerce and write y'all scripts to get up here in front of the jury in the state today, y'all thought that was going to actually change the narrative, and you pop up out of nowhere with these case files, right? Stop it. You would have been utilized these case files. Detective Gaither would have been back. That narrative would not have changed either way. Y'all make sure y'all jump in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Did the defense actually just overlook this by accident? Or did the state just make another honest mistake? And remember, the life you save might be your very own. If you ain't subscribed to the channel, man, hit that subscribe button, tap that like button if you enjoyed the content. Definitely tap that notification bell if you already subscribed or not subscribed, but just subscribe so you'll get that drop whenever I drop. Remember, the life you save might be your very own. Gone.